right, here we are. Hello, everybody. Hello, and welcome to Heart of a Hobbit here on the Lotro Twitch channel. Here on twitch.tv/Lotro stream. Da-da-da. So, welcome to the show, and I am your host, Little Redhead. I will be taking you around the world of Middle-earth today as we are celebrating a Hallmark holiday. Today is Chocolate Day. Tomorrow is Half-Price Chocolate Day in some parts of the world. We're in the Netherlands where Valentine's Day isn't as quite a big of a deal, but the Passen chocolates are out and available, and boy, are they tasty. So we've been indulging on those instead. So for today, well, first of all, I'm going to do some housekeeping, as we like to do here and I'm playing on Treebeard, as you can see in the words up at the tippity top there, and I am playing on a legendary server, which means a number of things. In this case, I am playing on a server. It's a slow progression server, so we are getting each expansion not all at once. We're just getting it in slow increments over time. About every 5 to 6 months, we get the next expansion that came out as they did originally in calendar order. So we are currently at max level 75, and we are in, oh, where are we? Great River and Isengard, stuff like that. So, but we are not there today because there's an event going on, and I am all about the events. So we are actually doing Ill Omens, which is an event that takes you into the skirmishes, specific skirmishes throughout the week. There's a 4-day rotation. Thank you. Actually, okay, I grabbed my ingredient crates. Let's go check with Wenda. Actually, what's my Wenda setup like? 10 days. I'm good. I do not need to talk to Wenda. So, yeah, so Ill Omens is an event. It takes, in this case, it's over most of the month of February, so like 4 weeks throughout February or so. And there are a number of things you can get, one of which were those bats that you just saw go flying by. In fact, I can do the same thing. They're called bat whirls, and you kind of flicker as well when you do them, which is kind of interesting. You can get those. They're a consumable item. So you do Ill Omens, and we'll show you how in here just a moment. And with as you do Ill Omens, the event, you earn tokens, Ill Omen tokens, I think they're called. Let's take a look. Tokens of Ill Omens. There we are. I currently have 30 out of my cap of 50. And as it says there, they are account shared. So all of my characters that are earning them, they go into this bucket here. So that's something to keep in mind, keep an eye on, because you don't want to max out. You don't want to reach the cap and not have spent them and then have some wasted, because they're harder to get, right? These tokens, like, you got to work for it. So you don't want to miss out on that. Okay, so it says found during the Ill Omens event may be exchanged for special cosmetic items. They don't really mention, but you can also use them to get pets, cosmetic pets, and this consumable thing, which I have finished. So here we go. See how it kind of, and then the bats fly around me. Funny thing is, if you do the bats and then you move, the bats stay where they were. So I had my skirmish soldier, basically I would move forward and then she'd be standing there and she's standing in the bats, which was really funny. Okay, so what we have currently is today's rotation. So as I was mentioning before, every day, oh, I have not been paying attention to the chat, my apologies. There we are. I just had all my screens up and all that sort of stuff. So, hello, X4711 says hello. And let's see, do you celebrate May 1st? Here in West Germany on May 1st, women would often get a tree. Interesting. It was more popular than Valentine's Day. So I should mention that I live in the Netherlands now, but I'm actually from America. So I am personally more well-versed in American holidays and traditions, at least, you know, the traditions that you grow up with, because America is a big country and people do things differently all over the place. But in general, I'm familiar with American holidays and customs and traditions, and I'm learning the Dutch ones. We've lived here like 4.5 years, so we've been exposed to a number of things, albeit a couple of those years were during, you know, Corona time when we were in lockdown and a lot of traditions didn't happen. So for example, The carnival is a big deal in some parts of the Netherlands as we are going into Lent. So they have a big party and parades and all that kind of stuff before people then stop doing whatever it is they're going to stop doing. That is bigger celebrated in the south of us than where we are, but there was a small parade through town here this last weekend. And then, hang on a second, a bunch of those people are then participating in a larger parade taking place in Arnhem, which is the large city nearby. And that'll be coming up this coming week, I think. I need to check on the dates on that because I think we're gonna try and go and hang out and watch a little bit of that parade. Because what they do is like there'll be floats and people walking, and they're wearing various costumes, whatever theme their group has come up with. And they'll be throwing candy out to everybody as they're walking by. It's rather entertaining. So I know about Carnival, and then Koningsdag is coming up in April, and that's King's Day, celebrating the King's birthday. It started back with his grandmother when I believe it was when she retired, and then the people in the town where she was living were like, hey, we're going to celebrate you. And then it kind of grew into something bigger, and people were like, kind of got on board with this idea, so that got kind of fun. And then when the king's mother then, so maybe it was the great-grandmother then. So because when the next one took over, she was like, well, my birthday is like in December, so let's keep celebrating my mom's birthday or my grandma's birthday or whatever it was, right? Because it's in April and it's spring and people like getting out and partying for that. And then King Willem Alexander, who's the king now, his birthday is like 2 days off of what his great-grandmother's birthday was. And so it's right in that same time. So the funny thing is his oldest daughter, who is next in line then, her birthday is also like back in December. So my guess is she's gonna be like, let's keep celebrating my dad's birthday, so I have a feeling that kind of tradition will continue on. That'll always stay in that time of year. So May 1st, I haven't seen a lot in the Netherlands for it, but that doesn't mean that it's not celebrated here. So I don't know. I haven't gotten a tree for May 1st before. That sounds pretty cool. I mean, Mother's Day is in May in the US, and I think in England, and possibly here also. Moedersdag, probably in May here. And I don't know, I would sometimes go to my mom's house and we would do stuff in the garden. Sometimes my kids would give me stuff, usually like a card, though. I don't think I ever got a tree or a plant, maybe? I'm not sure. Yeah, but anyway, that was really interesting. So that's kind of cool that people get a tree for May 1st. I like this idea because I'm terrible in the garden, and if people would just give me stuff for the garden, that would be kind of cool. Then the next problem is putting it in the ground. Like, I got some tulip bulbs. They're waiting to go in the ground still. But maybe this week, it'll be the week. And everybody's out there going, no, it's almost spring and you're putting tulips in now. Well, yeah, it's what's going to happen. Okay, so back to Ill Omens. Okay, so every day there's an NPC in Bree. We'll go meet her in a little bit. And you talk to her and she's going to give you a quest. And that quest is Skirmish Assault and then a title. And in this case, it's Skirmish Assault Beneath the World, because today's group of skirmishes that they want us to do is Beneath the World in Moria. So I have the quest already from her. It says complete Ill Omens, Battle of the 21st Hall, Battle of the Deep Way, Battle of the Way of Smiths, and Rescue in Nurse Gashu. And at the bottom here in bright red, I've highlighted it so you can't read it at all. But now you know where to find it. And it says you need only to complete 3 of the 4 listed quests today to advance this quest. That's important. And we'll talk about that why in a bit. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to go do one of these 4 skirmishes, because that's where the Ill Omens are going to be found today. So, Affadil, do you want to meet me in Southbury, or shall I port us somewhere? All right, I'll meet you there. I have a Teleportation. I set the milestone. Okay, so yeah, we need to get out of here because you can't enter an instance or a skirmish while you're in an instance, which the neighborhoods happen to be. I was just standing in my Shire neighborhood. Yo, yo, Hobbit in the hood. All right, so let's get started. Pick one. Pick a skirmish, any skirmish. And so you can do these on tier 1, 2, or 3. We are doing this on tier 3. There's also a kin member who just came online. She might want to join us. We are doing this so we are currently at level 75, which is the cap. We're going to run this at level 67, which you see here. Because as long as you do it within like 8 levels of your character, it still counts. So this makes it go a teensy bit faster. Okay, so we're doing Ill Omens, Rescue and Rescue tier 3. Why are we doing it in tier 3? That's a fantastic question that I know you are just wanting to ask. Hang on, let me get my skirmish soldier out. And let me eat some foods because tier 3 is harder. Because when you do the skirmish, because of 3 times the tiers, yes. When you do the Ill Omen skirmish, you get 2 tokens. If you do it on tier 3, you get an additional 2 tokens. So you get 4 tokens. All right, we're going to talk to Coroneer. And if you've been in here, this is part of the way you go through to get to the rift. But we're just doing the rescue in this area. So Goladir, this is part of the epic quest line. So if you've done the epic quest line, you'll have seen this where Goladir is not himself. And we have to go figure out what's going on and why did he come to this place and et cetera, et cetera. Okay. Aaron Part says, I have a question about your tagline. Stay close to the Hobbit side of your heart, or stay in touch with. As it is heart state in many places, can you tell us a little bit how you came up with it and what it means to you? Oh, that's a good question. Hang on while I murderate things, as a friend of mine calls it. So for me, hang on, we have a Priest of Vengeance, which is possibly good at because what the Priest of Vengeance is put shields. I don't know if you see the little spinny things around the guy up there. The Priest of Vengeance is who did that. And that is like super reflect. In fact, I may have just shot him by mistake. So we want to wait till those little spinny sorties are not on him anymore. And see, even if I put down a trap, okay, he's off, so that's fine. But if I put down a trap and he takes damage from that, it still reflects some of that on that, which is crazy. Okay. So let's hit this with misdirection, which I believe is yellow. So yellow, yellow, yellow. Oh, somebody was, and then it dropped. That's okay. We only needed 2 out of 3. So for me, Hobbit life is one in which people take care of each other, they look out for each other, they enjoy the simple pleasures in life and don't get so caught up in things like, you know, corporate jobs and, you know, having to worry about various things. It's like food is important. You know, friends are important. Music is important. It's the things that bring you joy in your life. Oops, I pressed the wrong button. There you go. That are important. And so I figure if people, it's kind of like what did Thorin or Oakenshield say to Bilbo? Something about if more people prized this over that, you know, it'd be a nice place. It's a huge paraphrase. I think before I was going to try and get the exact quote for me because that was a bit not exactly it. Paid off the dog with some frisbee tosses in order to be able to come and play Lotro. All right, misdirection, so that's going to be yellow. So it was pointed out to me that these are always red, yellow, top and bottom. And when we get to the ranger, it's green, blue, side to side. Didn't know that. But now I do. Okay. Oh, yes. Thank you. If more people valued home above gold, this world would be a merrier place. Thank you. So that's kind of the thoughts I have in mind when I say that. That I would like for people to find joy in comforts and things that make them happy and other people happy, and maybe not get so attached to material things and those things that don't stick around and or matter as much in the grander scheme of things. Alright, Clash of Arms, which is going to be red. There we go. Awesome. So that's kind of what I mean. Yeah. And I also encourage people to take care of each other, look after each other. Because it's a big, big scary world out there, and you just give a little bit of grace to people. And by that I mean, like, somebody cuts you off in traffic, maybe you're like, instead of just, oops, I forgot, instead of, I don't know, thinking poorly of them, maybe think about what's going on with you when you cut someone off in traffic. Like, usually it's a mistake, or you're in a hurry because you're, you know, frustrated, or something in your mind, or you don't even know you did it. So, you know, sometimes I know plenty of people who, if they get caught up in traffic, they take it very personally. And I can almost guarantee that the person cutting you off, like, the majority of the time, it's not personal. They're not even paying attention. They don't even think about you. You are the last thing on their mind. So that's the sort of thing I mean. Like, you know, give people a little bit of, oh, looks like Less Than Brilliant's gone for it. Good job, Less Than Brilliant. Start that compound. He's called Less Than Brilliant. Now, I'm not saying it's always easy to do that. Like, when somebody has done something that, you know, you that gets you, it's not always easy to be like, I wonder what's going on in their world that made them react in this way. But I think the more, like, rested you are in your own self, the less other people's offenses harm you. Somewhat. All right, I think we're good to exit here, yeah? Okay. So we probably got, let me double check the GD chat here, the general tab. So yes, I got 2 tokens of Ill Omens, and then because I did it on tier 3, I got an additional 2 tokens of Ill Omens. Now I will point out that the loading screen is up, that the Fateful Toolkit, which gives you bonus landscape wallet tokens, does not apply because we are not in landscape, we are in skirmishes. So no getting bonuses on this one. Okay, so I think we're going to do a little trickery here. And yes, we're going to maximize our tokens. So this is a little advanced level stuff here. So if you're very new to Ill Omens, this may not make any sense to you. Don't worry about it. You can just skip this part. But we are going to take our Skirmish Assault Beneath the World, that wrapper that she gave us that had 4 listed. Now there's only 3 listed. We only need 3 to finish. We're going to cancel this. We're going to drop it. Kapow. It's gone. There is, so if I go over to the skirmish lady, who's over here, she's the one I put in my tweet, because she's very important if you're doing this. Funny thing is, if you catch her at just like the right angle, she looks like she got some little 5 o'clock shadow going on there. Which I was like, did Netta turn into a guy and I didn't notice? I think Netta's still a she. Okay, anyway, so Netta Pinleaf here is your person. And when you talk to her, notice that Skirmish Assault Beneath the World, I want to retry it, it's got a 5-minute cooldown. So cool thing, we're already almost a minute through our cooldown. So in 5 minutes total, we're going to pick that back up. Okay. So Yes, Aaron Bard said, that's a lovely perspective, and I agree wholeheartedly. Thank you. Good things are most often not easy. Yeah, they can be, right? Yeah. Let's see. And before it says, I find it helpful to think things like, I wish they hadn't done that, instead of things like, how dare they? Yeah, if you take it less personally, that does help. And yeah, I mean, and it's perfectly fine, I think, to just express how you feel about it. Like, man, that would have been awesome if that didn't happen. I would have preferred that to not have happened. But it's generally not somebody, I mean, occasionally you have people who go out of their way to do something, but in general, you know, it's not necessarily the case. Okay, so while we're waiting, let's see. And before, you may have to walk me through what we did here. So over the course of the Ill Omens event that we have been doing, we have done 12 what? Gotcha, thank you. Okay, so that wrapper that I just had that said Beneath the World, we have picked that up and completed that 12 days in a row, actually, I think, but 12 days during this event. When you get to that point, and when we started, we probably picked up this quest that I'm now about to turn in. So, skirmish, Ill Omens, says talk to Netta Pinleaf, and now she's located in only 3 places. So she's not at every skirmish camp in Middle Earth. She's not like outside of Estelden and, you know, those other places, right? She's in Bree, as it says here, she's in Bree, Ostgalad, and the 21st Hall. So those are the 3 places where you can find her. And you can interact with her in any of these 3 places. Like, you could pick up the quest in Bree and drop it off in the 21st Hall. Like, she doesn't care. Like, you just talk to her, one of her, you know, triplicates, and you're good to go. Okay, so, let's see. So I'm about to complete the quest, because what I did is to complete this quest that I have here, the skirmish Ill Omens, it's kind of a big over wrapper quest, was I had to do that daily wrapper quest 12 times. Did that finally yesterday. As a reward for that, I'm going to turn this in. I'm going to get a positive portent, which we'll go over that in a second, tracery token for my legendary item, and 1,000 virtue experience, which you can look at your virtue experience if you go to your little trait tree thing, which I get to by clicking on the little Gandalf looking here at the bottom over there. And you go to this 3rd tab here. And then you can see all the virtue traits. So like right now I'm earning on this one, I'm going to get 1,000 virtue for turning this in, and so it might spill over onto other ones. Okay, so we can scooch that out the way for a minute. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and turn this in. So I got to talk to her, and she says, skirmish Ill Omens. And she says, oh, that ought to teach the dead to stay that way, I think. And whoever sent those harbingers might need to rethink their strategy while we're around. You've done well. Let's hope it is enough. Okay, so we're going to finish that. Oh, it didn't even spill over. Okay, so cool. So that got me a little bit further on that. I'm trying to max out all of my virtues. So I've maxed out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of them. And then I have the rest of them to finish off as well. Because your virtue traits here, they're maxed out at half of your level rounded down. So I'm currently level 75, so that would be like 37 and a half, so it rounds down, so 37 is the highest I can go to currently. Okay, so there we go. So now I should have in my inventory here this wacky little positive portent, which is a barter item. And I also got Ill Omens Essence Money. Oh, that's from yesterday, isn't it? Yeah, I'll take a look at that later. Okay, so I'm going to talk to Netta again. Oh, hey, I also have a Tome of the Ill-Omened Crawler, a Tome of the Ill-Omened Beast, and a Tome of the Ill-Omened Hound. Nice. Before's been doing some work on my character.
Please stay a moment.
Okay, so, oh, the quest is back up. It's been 5 minutes. Well, let me go ahead and pick that up. So again, this is today's location of Harbingers is Beneath the World, which are these 4 Moria skirmishes, And you do have to have unlocked these skirmishes in order to do these things. So that's a thing. All right, but I want to barter with her first. I want to barter.
Is there something I can do
Now
for
I
you?
can use this portent bauble, here we are, to get one of these abilities. And Aaron Bard, I see your question, and we'll come back to that as well. And thank you, before has already answered your question also. So I can pick, using my little bauble, my positive portent barter item, I can now pick a portent of strength, vitality, deafness, subtle portent of strength, subtle portent of vitality. I'm just going to go ahead and search the 75 to 115s. Okay, here we go. Because they're better. They are like the ones that you see here, like it's 75 to, let me tag this off, tooltip that off. So that subtle portent of strength, as an example, that you can get between level 50 to 75, and then compare that to the portent of strength that you can get at level 75 to 115. It's 33% damage versus 36% damage. So what does this mean? So when I get this, it's going to be, it says bind to account on acquire, but I'm pretty sure they meant bind to character. Oh, it is account currently. They meant character, but I think they did account by mistake because they were talking about that on one of the streams. But anyway, you use it. It has a duration of 15 seconds where it gives you that thing, and then you have a cooldown of 10 minutes. So you got the portent of strength? This is bound to account. Okay, alrighty-o. So do I want vitality, getting extra morale for a short period of time? Do I want deafness, which negates damage for a short period of time? Or do I want strength, which gives additional damage for a short period of strength? I like to do damage. Yeah. Pew, pew. I am very much into the pew-pews. So we're going to grab that. Now, it is in my inventory. It is a thing. So ideally, it would be on my bar somewhere. So we're going to stick that right there. Okay. I did not put it next to Burn Hunt. I'm not rearranging my whole bar for this. It's a very special thing that only certain characters are going to have, so I'm not going to... I've set it up so that I like where my stuff is at, and I've gone, and all my other hunters that I play with are everything's set exactly the same way. So, yeah. Okay. Aaron Bard asked, what does the virtue tree do for you? And while I answer that question, we're going to go into the deep way.
Rory's failed raid upon
and before
Zabad has
answered
brought the wrath of the
that
orcs down upon the
the
dwarves.
following,
The
that
encampment
you can
at the
choose up to
deep
5 active
faces a terrible
virtues,
onslaught from
I'll show you,
Marzog's
depending on
horde.
your level.
Are the
That's true. When you
Longbeards
first
strong
start, you
enough
can't,
to face
5
the
of them aren't
challenge?
unlocked. You can start with 1, and then eventually you get the second one, and eventually you get a third one, and so on. So eventually you have 5 that are open, and you can slot things in there. So before it says, the ones that are slotted give you big bonuses. All the other virtues in general give you a small passive bonus, whether they're active or not. Everybody says, if I have the Hobbit virtues of honesty, idealism, and empathy, what is that? What kind of stuff is it going to give you? So, for example, now, again, they get better as they have a higher level on them. So, like, my honesty is at level 32. It is not slotted. I do not have it currently assigned in here. So, if I did, I would have that tactical mastery bonus, I would have a will bonus, and a critical rating bonus. Currently, I do get from it a physical mastery rating and a tactical mastery rating bonus. So there's 2 kinds of traits here. There's the ones with the little shields, and then there's the ones with the little swords. And the passive bonus they give you is based on that. So the shield here is morale. I think they're all morale. Somebody pointed this out to me one day, and I was like, what? Mind blown. I had no idea. Okay, yeah, so all the ones with the little shields are giving you additional morale as a passive bonus. So a whole chunk of my morale is coming from these passive bonuses. It's fantastic. I am following you, by the way. And then the ones with the little red sword on them, those are giving you physical mastery rating and tactical mastery rating bonuses. So, I probably should be using things up here that have, I don't know. Well, this one's got, okay, so this one is giving me tactical and physical mitigation and vitality. This one's giving me fate, incoming healing, rating, max morale. That's not, I think the other one I was just looking at is better. Let's put that up there. Critical rating. Let's get some critical rating back up there. I slotted these ones. I just haven't gone back and looked at them. Let's see. So right now I'm getting, tactical, vitality, physical. I'm getting tactical, will, and critical rating. Will, tactical, finesse. That could possibly be swapped out for something else. Agility, physical, mastery rating, critical rating, and finesse, critical, physical, tactical. Wit is kind of like, they added it at some point, and it was kind of, it's like a catch-all. It's got a little bit of everything, right? It's got a little smorgasbord there. So if you don't know what to do, wit's a nice one. So, yeah. Let's see. And B4 mentions that your virtuous Hobbit race trait, which is there. That one looks like he's got a little Hobbit fro going. The virtues of the hobbits are represented strongly in you. This trait does not apply to unequipped or capped virtues. So you get a +1 to each one of those. That's not a big bonus. That's a small bonus. And let's see. Okay, so Aaron Bard asks, I know I should know this by now, but what is physical mitigation does what? That's a great question. I don't have a precise answer. Other people do. The wiki might know. Oh, okay. So I go to my character, Doodle Hobble. Alright, so here's physical mastery, here's tactical mastery. It tells me, okay, apparently I'm big on physical mastery because look, I've got 18,000 in that and I only have 4 in tactical. Physical mastery increases melee damage and range damage dealt by you. That sounds good. Physical melee increases the damage of your physical melee attacks against level 75 enemies by 189.4%. Very specific. Let's see. Physical ranged increases the damage of your physical ranged attacks against level 75 enemies by 206%. Okay. Tactical increases tactical damage you deal and healing done by you. I think tactical is like more of the magic stuff. And physical is more like the pew pew and bang bang. You know. Yeah, right. Yeah. Hitting them without hitting them. So tactical offense increases the damage of your tactical attacks against level 75 enemies by 80%, and tactical outgoing healing, which I don't heal people because I'm a hunter. Yeah, and it increases the amount of morale, which is healed by 17%. So I don't think I have any way to heal people currently. And if I maybe a portent someday or something can give me something, but... Huh? I mean, I don't think it counts as healing myself. I don't think healing myself... I don't know. At any rate, I focus very much on the pew-pew and the, let me see with my little... So, hey, I just finished Rude Queen Slayer Advanced. Huzzah. Yeah, I hit things with my pointy arrows. Oh, Harbinger is here, and we are engaged. And that's the reason why it's here. Thank you very much. You are very welcome. Other people have better answers than that, but that's like, short. A less informed answer than some others. Okay, now the Ill Omen guy there is actually a chest, so as long as one of your party clicks on it, you're good. We're gonna exit, aren't we? Yeah. I don't need to keep Broger alive. He's like as damageable as he's as strong as a wet paper sack. Yeah. Okay. Yes, ranged attacks can be so fun, especially when there's a sudden burst of multiple arrows with light or fire, says Aaron Bird. I do like my light arrows. I use light oil more often than fire oil because Affadil over there and I run together most of the time. Yeah, we're going into the way of the smiths
With the
now.
revelation of
In case people are
Ziegelberg,
wanting to know where
Marzab
we are.
knows that the Heart of Fire has been
And,
discovered and seeks to
she
claim
has-
the forge for
excuse
his
me.
own.
She has
In the way
a
of smiths, the dwarves must stem the
explosion or
flood of
something
darkness and
that
prevent the
does
Heart of Fire
light mitigation,
from
which
falling to the
which makes the enemies more susceptible to light damage. So I figure that works out really well together. She, hits them with that, and then I hit them with light damage, and we're like bang bang, So it seems like a good pairing. So I do still have fire oil because I have a scholar and I made it. Because cool thing is when you're making stuff for yourself, or your alts and whatnot. Oh, you're there. You can use those universal crafting ingredients packs. I'm gonna show you. So if I go to that bubble, if you go to your crafting panel, and so let's say I wanted to make this cloak of Theodred, and it would take some finished Kalinard leathers. It would take a large Westfold pattern, which is a guild thing, and it would take a cracked Hellbarge sigil, which I don't really have any on me. So let's say I was like having a hard time getting all of these materials, and I'm just making something for myself or for one of my alts. I can use universal ingredients, so click that button right there, and it's then going to use, like, I've been collecting those things, like every time I come online I collect them. You can get them every 22 hours, those crates that you sometimes run across in the neighborhoods. So you click on it, it gives you 3 or 6 of those universal ingredients. And oh yeah, for that thing, which is a pretty high level thing in our area. This is like the level 75 cloak or whatever. And it would take 10 of those ingredient packs. Well, I can pick up 9 of those in one day with one character, and I have like 14 characters. So using the universal ingredient packs is a great way to make stuff cheaper, in a cheaper fashion. Priest of Vengeance, okay. Yeah, takes us out. See anybody with this? Oh yes, I do. Somebody's got the spinny thing. Who is it? There it is. It's the fire one on the right. Alright, cool. Excellent. Eastern Forge. I think we're here. Aaron Bard asks, do you level all of your alts? Sometimes. On Treebeard, I have a couple of objectives, like personal objectives. One is to have a main character who does every single deed. So very deed completionist with my main character. I mean, it's easiest to be deed completionist with your main character. If you're trying to be deed completionist with an alt, that would be a bit harder. You could do it, but it would be a little harder. So, yeah, so deed completion with this character, that's one of my objectives. So anytime there's like something outstanding, like the Ill Omens, there are some deeds, we have been working to complete all of them. For example, you need to meet and defeat every single Harbinger that exists, and there's a list of, I don't know, so you gotta find them all and defeat each one of them. There's another deed for taking out 80, was it? That was the basic. And then you have, 60. Okay, so 60 Harbingers. And you're like, woohoo, I completed it. And then you get the expansion, 120 Harbingers. So that one takes a while. And we're working on that. So things like that. So that's what we're doing with, that's a role that I have. I've got +2 and +2. And somebody already got the chest. Excellent. Let's head out. Yeah. Another thing on Treebeard is that there's a title you can get if you get your character to level 50 or higher, and you are playing on Was it hard difficulty? Hang on, titles. What was it? Of arrows, probably. Of woods? No, that's not it. Of bows, there we go. Oh, it doesn't say it on here. I'd have to go into your thing. Anyway, there's a title you get for completing, yeah, that's not going to tell me either. If you complete it on like hard difficulty or higher, oh, I know where I can look, because there's ones I haven't done yet. Okay, here we go. If you're playing on hard difficulty or higher of that class, you get a title. And there's a title at 50, and then there's a title later on at 130. Yeah, so, and then, so there's that title. There's the two titles, one at 50 and one at 130, if you're doing it on hard or higher. And then if you're doing it on deadly or higher, which is higher than hard, there's another pair that of titles you can get, one at 50 and one at 130. So I have a goal to also complete those two
In the aftermath
deeds,
of the raid upon
as they are,
Barbadothel, Marzong sets his strength against Durin's
by
folk,
playing
assaulting
at
many clean
deadly
continents.
difficulty or higher,
If the
so that way I both
21st
get the
hole
hard one and the
falls,
deadly one.
then the advantage
And I
falls
got
to
them at level
Marzong's
50,
orcs.
and now I'm waiting till I get to be 130, and I'll get them again. So, okay, cool. And Aaron Bard asked about Deadly, so before has put into the chat that I'm playing on Treebeard, and you can learn more about the legendary servers at that link there, and it talks about the landscape difficulty that we're playing on. It adds difficulty in the landscape. So things are going to hit me harder. It's going to be harder for me to hit them. They've got more mitigations against me. There's an additional effect that can happen if I get the attention, too much of attention, of the minions of Sauron. Then they'll throw a big blast of fire in my direction. I get a warning, so I know it's coming, but I have a short period of time to get out of range, or they will hit me with a blast of fire that takes out about half of my, about a quarter of my health. You go, Leslie Brilliant. You get him. Good job. So that's additional stuff that I'm playing with, and I really enjoy it, actually. I wish it was on the live server. Yeah, the regular servers as well, not just the legendary servers. Anyway, so I'm having fun with that. So yes, as V4 has clarified there, so if you are at least on hard difficulty before level 11 and you don't go below that, then you qualify for the first two sets of titles that I was talking about in the majority calls. If you start at level deadly difficulty or higher, and you don't drop below deadly, then you are then qualified for those other two titles that I mentioned at 130. So, and they do give you an account-wide title, and it's based on the class that you're playing. So, like I said, like that Hunter one, it's Adept of Bows, Master of Bows. There is also an equivalent pairing of titles for every single class. So there's like, oh, I forget what they all are. It's probably in that link. So it's so I want those titles because I mean you can't get them any other way, and so I want all the titles too. So I did create one of every class on the server, and every one of them has gotten to level 50. So that was the first objective, and then some of them have gotten past that because I take them and do festivals, or what? Why are you throwing things at me? Who asked you? Throw things back. And I see that Egg Arthur has piped in that landscape difficulty should be coming to the live servers eventually. Yes, I'm very, very much looking forward to that. I think a bunch of us are. Because our Crick Hollow experience is pretty awesome but it would be even more awesome. And it only affects the person who has it. So for example, if I have the deadly difficulty on and I'm getting that fire, other people in my party who are also playing but maybe are not playing on deadly, maybe they're playing on normal or hard or whatever, they are not affected by that. They don't even see it. I'm not sure if they can see that I've been hit by it, but they don't get hit by it. So that's nice. It's very targeted in the way that it works, and I very much like that, because we've done that on Treebeard, where we were, we had a group, so we were also very curious about testing this out, and yeah, so we had like one person on normal, the pair of us were in deadly, somebody might have been on hard, like we were, trying out like what happens. So that was nice. I know Egg Arthur says it's confusing to call them live since it's also the distinction made from the beta server. I know, I don't like calling them live either. I kind of call them the regular servers. I don't know what else to call them. Like live is what SSG calls them, but I think I agree with you. It's kind of a misnomer. So. Well. Yeah, I know Egg Arthur, or Aaron Bard, you said live server equals legendary, and it does not. It's the... basically, yeah, SSG kind of calls them live servers like your regular servers. So your Crick Hollow, Laurelin, Landfall, all of those. I call them the regular servers most of the time. Yeah, and Egg Arthur's tried to also clarify live versus legendary. Sometimes the non-legendary servers are called regular or normal servers, original servers, although they're not original, but yeah. The other servers, standard servers, yeah, as B4 says. Yeah, we need a better title for it, but naming things is hard. Naming things in a way that is clear and effective and useful is not as simple as it looks. I have named many things, and it's very complicated. So yes, so Aaron Bard, the difference is we have legendary servers and we have the regular servers where people can play on and they don't cost anything, and they're free to play and all of that. These legendary servers are also subscriber servers, in that you have to be a subscriber of some sort. So like, the VIP or a lifetime subscriber, like any of those sorts of dealios. Oh, that's not, there's our Harbinger. Yeah, servers versus non-legendary servers. Like, what do we draw the distinction? Like, how are we doing it? So we've got, okay, so Aaron Bard is, we have standard, legendary, beta servers, kind of. Because you've got, like, your standard servers, okay, free to play, all that. You get legendary servers, slow progression, subscriber necessary, things like that. You have the beta server of Bull Roarer. All right, cool, we're out. Which they open up to everybody, to the public, and you just have to download the special client, just like you download the client to play now, to get in, and you transfer a character you have on there, and you just start playing, and it's a playground to test out things that they are working on. They'll have people who are SSG employees, available for, if you're like, hey, what's going on with this? They can answer those questions. Like, it is a testing server, absolutely. But before it gets to that, there are other testing servers that they don't open up. So I'm not even sure if those are called beta or where those fit. You think Palantir is an alpha server? Yeah, okay. So Palantir is another server that's even before that. It definitely is before Bull Roar. And Palantir is like invitation only. You have to sign up for testing stuff that's in like super early phase. I think there's NDAs involved, non-disclosure agreements, all those details. I'm not on Palantir. I don't know. Don't know the details of it to beyond that. Okay, so we have finished that wrapper. We did 3 things while I had the wrapper active. And
What do you
so
need?
she's like, hey, good job. That ought to keep them away from a while. And I'm going to get 2 tokens of Ill Omens from her. So now I can go into the
What
bartering.
do you need?
I'm going to go into the bartering. And I want to look at the pets. Because, oops, hang on. I still have... All right, let me go ahead and do this. The Tome of the Ill Omen Crawler. Let's see. Where can I get these to come out? Maybe here? We'll find out. And then, of course, the developers have their own servers that you can't access to, but they can go and they can, you know, jump over walls and things like that. Well, you know what? I forgot to use my new Ill Omen bauble while we were in there, the Portent of Strength. I forgot to use it. Oh well, no worries, no worries. Okay, so I've made that happen. So now I have 3 new pets. There they are. The Ill Omen Crawler, the Ill Omen Beast, Ill Omen Hound. So let's see, do I get the worm, the horn, the bat, the red bat, the sienna goat, yellow beetle, corrupted craven? Well, I know what I'm going to get. I'm going to get the white horn. So they cost 40 each. Well, yeah, these cost 40 each. The pets cost 40 each. You have a cap of 50. So there's only a small period of time that you have between when you can afford it and when you are like over limit. I just did 3 of them. Okay. Yep. All right, so cool. So I'm going to buy the horn. And now I have a tome, which looks like not bound, the tome. So it looks like you could do these, pass them around, put them in the auction house. Looks like you've got some possibility there. So, all right, I want to look at these now. So if I go to pets and I go to here we go. So the Ill Omened. So these are all the Ill Omened ones. So that's the blood red bat that I didn't get. Can you see it on the screen? Okay, cool. There's the corrupted craven. These are kind of dark. They're a little hard to see. I know you can just see like a little white dot flying down. That's his beak. There's a fiery yellow beetle. We have the worm that I didn't get. I find the worms really weird. There's the sienna goat. Cute. The tattered bat. His wings have little holes in them. But what I do have is the Ill Omened beast. Oh, he's got the stick with the skull on it behind him. Creepy. All right, we've got the crawler. It's kind of like a worm, but definitely more Moria. We've got the Ill Omened hound, which is a very dark-looking dog creature. And we've got the white horn. That's so cute. We're gonna put that out. What's its name? Phantom. All right, I can work with that. I do like the horns. I think they're cute. Well, he's got like look at that branch coming out. He's like, oh, he's got the face. He's got the whole face thing going on. Oh, that's fantastic. Here, let me see if you guys can get a better look. See, he's got the grumpy face, and he's got his like arms out the side. I find the horns interesting. Okay. Oh, that's cool. I like that. I'm very happy to have that. In fact, hang on, let me bring that back out. I think I might put that out on my bar. So we're going to get rid of the bat whirls because I've never used them anyway. And let's see, I think the present pony, I think we're done with you for the season. Blue peacock's cool, but I think we're done with you for now. I do like the white squirrel because I've named it the Ghost of Old Took, and I find that funny. Snow, not so grim. We're coming out of the season, so we'll move that on. So, okay, so then, actually, I'll show you horns. So the horns that you can get the black horn with honeycombs hanging down, but he doesn't have the branches coming out. There's the Fangorn one. Look at that guy. He definitely has the branches coming out. But it doesn't have a lot of foliage. I got the Poinsettia Wreath horn. That one's cute. I don't have the Snowy Fangorn one. He's got the arms also coming out. The Tame Wildwood one I do have. And the white one we just got. And then there's the Yule Tree version, which is hilarious because it's a Yule Tree that basically has legs that follows you around. So funny. That one cracks me up. All right, so I think we'll keep the Yule Tree one around. And I'm going to ditch the poinsettia for now, even though I think I gave it a funny name. Okay. So there we go. Hey, he's still looking at me. He's looking at me. He's big. He's bigger than I was expecting. He's as big as a hobbit. Dude. You're a big tree. You're a big tree pet. Is the picture window part of your skin features? Asks Aaron Bard. Oops, not that thing. The picture like there, that's normal. If you go to Shift C, that brings up your collections panel. You could also get to it from the little guy here, the collections panel where it says Stable Masters on your the radar up at the tippity top here, up in the corner where my mouse is like going crazy. If you go to the Stable Masters one there at the very side, about like 4 o'clock on your radar, if you click on that, that toggles the Stable Masters collections open for you. And that's where you can get to the Stable Masters that you have unlocked, like, you know, Stable Masters you've met. Very important to meet them. It's a very polite thing to do. You've also got your collection of your emotes here. You've got your collection of your mounts and the collection of your pets. And yeah, the pets and the mounts and the emotes all have that preview window of what's the scoop. That's normal. My skin just changes the color of the background here, I think. So I've got like kind of this brown thing going on. Yeah, the edging, the lines, and the little leaf in the corner and stuff like that. But the preview window should be there on every version. That's not a skin-specific feature. So, like for your mounts, if you want to look at what the mounts are, because I do this all the time. I'll be looking at a mount and be like, oh, do I want this one? Do I want this one? Do I want this one? Like trying to figure out what I want to put with my outfit. To be honest. But yes, you can absolutely do it with the pets. And you've got this little search bar at the top that I have been using prolifically. So if you didn't notice that I was doing that, you do have a little search bar up here. And even if you just put in like a couple of letters, like you're like, I don't know, I think it ends with an RN. You know, everything that has RN next to each other in here is going to show up. Although, why did the frog show up? Oh, because it's available in Eastern, maybe? Gondor? So, hey, one of the things I do like also about this is if you were like, man, I really wish I could find, like, there's a swarm of bees, which I think is cool. And you're like, man, I want that swarm of bees. How do I get a hold of that? It'll tell you underneath it. So this says available in the mists of Wilderland. So, like, we're not even close to that. But yeah, like this adventurous lurker. Available to barter from Celebrier in Rivendell. I have the Gourd Lurker. I love the Gourd Lurker. I think he's so cute. Available through barter during the fall festival. So, you know, finding out like how to get a hold of things is really handy. I wonder, oh, that might be something I think this might be new, that it searches the description from what's in your search bar, because I don't remember doing that before. Because I just put in fall, and I think it's giving me everything that's available in the fall festival. That is fantastic. Love it. That's so good. Okay, so let's check spring. See, I'm missing the large shrew in this character from the spring festival. I'll get it this year. I'm not worried about it. I'll probably spend all my time in the stomping grounds. So here's a cool thing too, is if you're like, hey, I want to add a pet, you know, I want to walk around with a pet, but I only want to look at what I have. Like, don't show me what I don't have. You can click you can filter here. So you can click on have. So this just shows me the ones that I have earned. Or if I click need, it's going to show me all the ones I'm still working on. Which, interestingly, it's roughly the same amount. No, there's more that I need than I have. Okay. You can also look at what's available in the store in some fashion. Like I got the War of the Three Peaks Ultimate Fan Bundle, and that's how I got this pet. So like it'll tell you those things too. The trout kite you can go just buy in the Lotro store, things like that. What about this badger? Oh, that's in the Lotro store also. Cute. Sentinel and training, those things are so cute. Available in the Lotro store as part of the Reclaim Moria bundle, it says. Anyway, so if you want to know what you can go and purchase, there's those. Sometimes some of the things you can purchase have been available in other ways, though, so it's not a... if there's more information than would fit in this little bitty block, it doesn't give you everything. Like, available in the Lotro store. However, sometimes it is available through the community loot list or through other various, like it's not going to put all that in there. Like, it's just going to give you the basics. Like, how can you go get this right now? Or what do you do, And then this is earnable. So, like, this one is available for Figments of Splendor from the Keeper of Mysteries. Or the Frog. Same thing. Let's see. What do I not have? Available to barter and Nulzabar. And the big wasp, available limited time for Figments of Splendor. So that's going to be like the Curator or Roan Raspberry, Myrtle Mint, or Filbert Fig. So, so that's kind of cool. Whereas I could look at the ones that are still earnable and be like, okay, I can get these. What do I need to do to get them? Like Will and Whisker, is from participating in the story of Bingo Boffin. So, things like that. Like, oh yeah, well, I can still go get that. Which reminds me that the Curator is here right now and through tomorrow. So I think I want to actually go and talk to the Curator. Because we're done with the Ill Omens for the moment, I believe. Yeah. Yep. Okay, so we're going to go to the Curator. And then, where are we at? It's been about an hour, so we've got like another hour or so. So then we can decide what else we want to do for the second hour. That's the Ill Omens isn't like a festival where there's a lot to do, right? Like it's basically go talk to Netta, get your wrapper, go to the places she tells you to go, come back, turn in the wrapper. Like that's pretty much the Ill Omens thing. You're doing between like 3 to 5 skirmishes, and then you're done for the day. That's pretty much it. But hey, we're gonna pop over here to the Curator. Oh, nice. What did you do, Lalia? Nice. I thought I would give people a tour through Bree because, the folks who create this have done such a nice job of creating Bree. I was like, yeah, let's go through Bree. But the eagle-eyed among you may notice that Aphrodite did beat me here. And she was standing right next to me when I left. She used the Travel to Lalia's Market skill that you can purchase for 3 mithril coins, which is not a big deal. Like, it's not a lot, which is fantastic. So she just popped in there and was like, boop, boop. Okay, so Curator is this lovely in her fancy dress right here. And that is a really nice dress, actually. I wonder how it dies. Anyway, she only appears periodically throughout the year. So it's really, so that's why people are often like, holy crap, Curator's in, gotta go find, that's why people are paying attention. And that's why Cord put the Curator on the Lotro schedule. So let's see, Hobnanigans, oh, that's already over. And so like the Curator is here through the 16th, I guess, or until the 16th, so through the 15th. And then again in April. So like she only pops in for like 2 weeks at a time. Like it's not very long. So that's why it's really important that when she is around that you get in there and get anything that you wanted to get from her. I'm just gonna edit that out, the Hobnanigans, because that's already happened. Okay, so I'm gonna check in with her. She takes Figments of Splendor.
What can I do for you?
For her items. And what you will find generally on the Curator is, well, here, let's probably have a list. Cosmetic armor. So she'll have like a theme. So she's got the Forest Defender set. She's got a gray, so the Forest Defender set is kind of elfy, I believe, if I recall. The Grey Mountains Elite and Grey Mountain Stalwart are dwarfy. There's other cosmetic armor and clothing. There's cosmetic cloaks to go with those armor sets. And then there's housing decorations, mounts, and pets. That's what I'm here for. Oh, and there's also cosmetic weapons and shields. But yeah, whatever. Aaron Bard asks if I heard anything on the repairs of the broken layers of homesteads is going. Yeah, I don't know. No, I haven't. But I did miss Cord this last week, maybe the last 2 weeks. I keep getting anyway, I keep missing them. And what I'm talking about is Cord of the Rings is a show here on twitch.tv/LotroStream. And it takes place on Fridays at noon. Cordovan is the SSG community manager, and so he is the one who's providing like interactive information to the community about what's going on at SSG. So he's the one to ask about those things. What they have said in the past is that the what's going on is it's an instance. So that's different than a landscape thing loading. And then when it loads, sometimes things load out of order. So sometimes it'll be like, like the houses or whatever loads before the furniture, and whereas it needs, or like, it's loading out of order. And so that causes some of the stuff to then just not load properly. So that's why you get that problem. Interestingly, we don't run into that on Treebeard. So it definitely seems to be in line with like the lag stuff and server load or whatever's going on there, because we also don't encounter much lag either on Treebeard. So I don't know what it's connected to exactly, and I think if they knew what was connected to exactly, they'd fix it, right? Like they're still figuring out why is it doing this and not doing that, sorts of things. So I know that was a clue they had at one point, and they had fixed it. So the fact that it's happening again makes me curious why, I don't know. But I'm not a developer, actually. I have a degree in IT project management, so I know how to manage developers, or, could have at one point in my life. But that isn't something I am active in these days. So what I'm going to do here, you may have noticed what I've started doing here, is I have over 7,000 of these motes of enchantment, and I have over 7,000 embers of enchantment. And we got those from, like, I think we were doing the Gablaka stuff and all that. Missions. We were doing missions, and these were rewards for, like, mission wrappers. So I ended up piling up some of these, and I don't use them. These are basically used for end game equipment and stuff, and I don't make gear. And I don't engage with that. But I can trade 1,000 of these embers of enchantment to get 1,000 figments of splendor, which I will use. So I am just trading down those so they don't go over cap. And my figments were down to like 3,000, so that works just perfectly. So, okay, now I've got my figments up to 8,000. You do have a wallet cap on these things, though. I think that's 10,000 for each of them. Let's double check, though. So, Figments of Splendor, yep, 10,000 is your cap there. And for Embers and Motes of Enchantment, it is both 10,000 for each of those. So, yeah, so I thought so. So it's a 10,000 level cap for each of these currencies. So that's why I wanted to go ahead and bring those down. So Aaron says you usually run into the layers thing, or the house furniture not being there when you hunter into your homestead or use other travel skills. Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. Like, it's a loading order thing, which is why sometimes people say, well, go into a house or leave and come back, or, those sorts of things to give it a chance to load it in the proper order. The fact that it's happening for the entire neighborhood at times, though, is kind of, I don't know. I don't know what's, because, like, you would think it would be just for one person, but it's happening for, like, all the people. So I don't know. I wish I knew the answer to that. Yeah?
I would assume if no one's been in the neighborhood recently, they flush it from memory.
Before has some thoughts on that. Maybe you mentioned that on your stream. Because, yeah, he's a software engineer. And so he has some thoughts about how it might blah, 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 things like that. Yes, I know, Egg Arthur. Egg Arthur says there may be some endgamers who are sobbing quietly at the sight of embers being down converted to figments. Yeah, the ember grind, the struggle is real. I know, and that's why I think it's so funny that I'm like, it's basically like, how do I describe this? It's like imagine, I don't know, like if you're in D&D level 50 character and you're like, man, I got to get the sword of, bloggity blah, and it's going to take me all this stuff to get it. And so I go and you got to go do this and this and this and this, and you collect all those things. And you're like, cool, now I have the parts that I need to make this level 50 sword. And here comes this little level 10 who's like, hey, neat, let me just break that down into a couple of rocks, chunk, 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 and I'm going to eat it, whatever. And they'd be like, no. It's like something like that. Okay, cool. Moobot has, check out the most recent Lotro letter here. We've got it in English, German, and French. So that's a letter to the players. Good information, lots of good information in there. Oh, I thought I would show you all what's in here. So this is the Golden Forest Defender set. So Golden Forest Defender set. So again, very elfish, elven. Let's go to the Brilliant Forest Defenders look. Okay, so here's the Brilliant Forest Defender. So I got a little bit of a shimmery, the way that sometimes metal looks different with different angles than you look at it. So that's that going on. All right, now we're getting into the dwarf stuff. Heavy boots, the Gray Mountain Elite. So there's the Gray Mountain Elite. It reminds me of the, especially on a Hobbit. It looks like the characters like from Wizard of Oz that are like little guys with little pikes that are at the Wicked Witch of the West castle. Sort of. Oh wee oh. Yeah. Oh. That's what she looks like. Thank you for that. And then here's the Gray Mountain Elite. Oh, there's more. Oh, it changes over. Hang on. Okay, so Gray Mountain Elite, shoulder, chest plate, light boots, light gauntlet, light helm. There's a whole series of these Gray Mountain Elite. There's Gray Mountain Elite and light version of the Gray Mountain Elite. So you can see how it kind of goes into lighter padding as you go through. And then you can have cloaks to go with these things. So that's Gray Mountain Elite versions. Oh, heavy cloak, the Gray Mountain Elite, stalwart, Gray Mountain Stalwart, Gray Mountain Stalwart, Gray Mountain Stalwart. Oh, now we're getting into the heavy shoulders and whatnots. This is the Gray Mountain Stalwart look. It's a little more sparkly. Stalwart, Stalwart, Stalwart. Okay, now we're getting to the light version of the Stalwart. So, for those days when you're just out for gathering berries in the woods or whatever. Got some cloak action. Can go with some of these things. Let's see. Where was I? Here we are. More cloak action. Oh, here we go into the Slayer's raiment. So check that floofy thing out. Pauldrons, breastplate, gloves, boots. So that's big and shiny. All right, and then we're going to go back to the cloaks. There's the Golden Forest Defender. I've actually considered this one because the Golden Forest Defender's cloak is kind of pretty. It's got that dwarf thing. And then there's the Brilliant version, which is kind of red. I think the blue one is actually quite nice. So we've got a Cloak of the Wise Wanderer, hooded cloak. So if you are into white feathers, you are jamming. Then we've got Slayer's raiment if you like dragons, hooded version. More feathers. This is the black one. So there's a white version and a black version. Ceremonial cloak of the dwarf holds and the hooded one. Let's see. More cloaks. Cloak, cloakity cloak. Cloak, cloak, cloakity cloak. I don't wear a lot of cloaks. So it's not generally my jam. Okay. So now we're done with the outfits, because those are the different cosmetic outfits you can get from this person. Now we're going to go into, this is from the curator, we're going to go into the housing items after I double check chat. Let's see. Aaron Bard is the first, my current goal is the first set you showed. Oh yeah, nice. They're called Winkies, according to Mr. Google. Though the Wizard of Osgars. Yes, looks like a Winky. Oh yeah. before had mentioned that on this whole neighborhood things disappearing conversation, that his guess is that if no one is in a neighborhood, the instance shuts down like Carndum, and then when someone goes in it, it loads that neighborhood for everyone. And so if it loads not quite right, then his expectation everybody else would see that same issue. Anathalos responded that was SSG's explanation for the rubber banding back in the days, as every region had their own or multiple server. Regarding the loading issues, he says, I think Severlin has explained in his stream that it's caused by a huge amount of, skills, items, deej, which had to be fetched from a database, especially for long-term characters, and the game was never quite designed for this amount of huge data. So what they're talking about there is a thing that's come up. So, for example, here's my quest log. And you can see, I have things going on. But if I go to my completed quests, notice how it says loading, please wait. So it's not instantaneous because it has to go and grab all of these things, which at this point is 4,134 of, completed quests. I'm only level 75 character. There's thousands and thousands more quests out there for me to do. So yeah, you get to like some level 120, 130, 140 level characters who've been playing the game through and doing the epic line and doing side quests and doing deeds and doing all these things. When you go to show completed, it's got to load a lot of data for that. And then you get into your deeds. Here we are. Sorry, not deed, that's skills. So like your deed log, and if you want to show the completed things, well, you can see how many I have completed here. And actually, I'll give you even a faster way to look at it. I'll just go to this plugin that before made, the deed tracker. So everything that's green here, there's fireworks out there. Everything that's green or checked off is stuff that I've done. And this just, and that's just with the word of. Let me get rid of that. So, and actually, if I even just collapse this, I have done, 40 out of 50 class deeds. I've done 162 out of 213 race and social, 10 out of 16 epic, 94 out of 242 of the reputation deeds that are in the game. 0 out of 30 of the alliance deeds. And that's just one tab. That's just the class ranks and epic tab. So that's not even, let's get into Eriador. Like all of those deeds I've completed. That's a lot of data that has to get loaded when it's ready for, when I'm like, hey, I need to open up my deed panel. And it's like, oh yeah, hang on a minute. So that's something, that Anathalos is mentioning. That's what Severlin has talked about a couple times when he has been on the stream with Cord about how those things are adding a lot of load. And when the game was created, it was created for like level 50. Like that was the cap. That was the end of it. The original designers, they wanted the game to go on forever, but you don't expect it to. And 15, 18 years ago, you're building things using the knowledge of that time. And now there's different ways to do things and threads and all these things like that. So before it says the sad burden of being a completionist. So the upper right bar in the deed tracker tells you the totals. There we go. So I have done overall 1,104 deeds out of a total of 1,769 deeds that I have access to. I think it's not including the ones I don't have access to, like things above my level maybe, minstrel deeds, things you can only have done from like purchasing certain things, or dwarf deeds, and so like that's not every deed in the game, it's just every deed I have access to. So you can see there's a lot of information there that it's pulling. Aaron Bard asks, is that the current version of the deed tracker or the updated one? I'll let B4 answer that. Okay, so curator. First two things you see here are the pet harness and the steed halter. People often have questions about these, so I want to look at that real quick, but let me get a drink first. And on my deed tracker, before it says I'm using the released version, the most updated released version, but not the one that's been in development that has some new coding going on behind the scene. There, so there you are. Okay, so let's answer some questions here about the pet harness and the steed halter. When you purchase it, so like the steed halter is only usable in Rohan, where they have the houses that you could buy, the premium houses that have a hook for that. It's a post, a harness post there that you would be using. The pet harness, though, you can use anywhere, in any houses, anywhere. So let's start with the pet harness then. It is a token that you get. And it is a token that can be automatically exchanged for a permanent pet decoration when a pet skill is slotted to a furniture or yard decoration hook. What does that mean? Now, there are a couple pages on the wiki that explain the process on how to do that, because we were going through this process ourselves and before took some great pictures and updated the wiki. So there's some really good information there on how to do this. Basically, the short of it is that you go into your pets, of the ones that you have, you take a pet that you have, you take a pet harness, and you combine them. And it makes a new thing, an offspring, if you like, that is a decoration item. So I could basically take, I don't know, this adventurous lurker. Well, how about a beaver? Beavers are cute. So I could take this beaver, and I could take a pet harness, and I could put them together, and it would create a beaver housing item. It is a live beaver, just like the one that follows me around, and it stands there and just kind of does its little, actions, whatever it is, like looking around or scratching its nose or whatever they do, right? You can use that then as a housing item. So if you want to be a crazy cat lady and fill your house up with cats, you absolutely can. You can attach a harness with a cat that you have and make it a housing item. And then you could go grab another harness, make another cat, make it a housing item. Grab another cat, make a thingy, make it a housing item. So you could just like do that for all the things in your house. So that's what the pet harness is. It's a housing item that allows you to take a pet that you have and make a housing item with that information. Okay. Let's see. Anathos said also Orion mentioned during the layoffs and different staff working on the game over time and adding new stuff in different ways. Yeah, some of the stuff might not have been implemented correctly, or there's been some inconsistencies over time, so it might not be as efficient as it could be, but yeah, they couldn't fix it as they didn't have the resources for it. And rule number 1, never change a running system. Yeah, when it comes to coding, there isn't like there's not a one way to do it. It's kind of like writing a book in a way, and like if you were to take out a chapter and try and, be like, hey, rewrite this chapter and then throw it back in there, like you might miss things, right? There might be things that happened in that chapter that connected to characters later, or that connected to characters earlier, or plot points. And you have to make sure that all of those things are still in there. And you have to make the book readable while you're working on that. So, all of those things come into play for the software engineers and the engineers and the people who are working on this behind the scenes. So I understand the challenges that they have. And then there's sometimes when a person might look at something and be like, I don't know why this works. So if you don't know why it works and you try to deconstruct it or replace it and you break it, then you're really in trouble. So I get that they have to be careful about changing old code. But what they're doing now is, I think, is smart. And, they're doing new areas, new things with the new code and trying to be, mindful of in the future, what if they want to change this or update it to do with something else and, maybe whatever they might do. And being mindful of that and trying to make it available for that in the future is my understanding. I think there's more mindfulness towards the future now than there might have been in the early days. So yeah, okay. So let's go back. Okay, so we got the steed, so the steed halter is basically the same thing as a pet halter, the pet harness, except you can only make a steed decoration for the mount decoration hook, which is only available in the Rohan premium houses at this time. I don't think... Oh, wait, no, sorry. And Erebor. Sorry, Erebor has it too. Belfast does not. because Belfast was first, and then they did Rohan, and they put that in as Rohan, and then they did Erebor, and so they kept it in as Erebor. Yeah. Okay, you can have a high elf visitor property guard. You can also, yeah, so that's kind of cool. You could have a high elf just kind of stand there, walking around, looking all shiny. The public outhouse is fantastic. It's an outhouse, and then you go, like, you click on it, and you knock on it, and something comes out, and it's pretty funny. The fish pond is very pretty. You can have a visiting barber if you want to have a barber in your house, you know, in your yard, or it's a furniture or a yard item. You can put them into one of those kind of hooks. Tabletop minecart display. You click on it. It's like a table, and it's got like a little minecart, you know, thing on it. And you click on it. It goes eat-er, 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 and the little cart goes around. It's very cute. Let's see. You can get a couple elf-style things, the alabaster garden chair, the alabaster garden table. They're lovely. You can get a corked bottle to put onto your table next to the chairs. You've got an alabaster planter with sunflowers, also very nice. You could have a visiting banker. So if you also wanted to have a banker at your house and not just a barber at your house, you can buy a visitor to come and hang out there. There's a large map of Eriador. That's a wall decoration. Training dummy stand, which used to be more important, but you can test your skills against it. So some people do want to know, like, what's their DPS, what's the various, you know, the stats. And so you can train up against a dummy stand because it is the same level as you, as opposed to the dummies that you find, the training dummies in the, like in that place back there, in the training hall. Those are a certain level, like those are level 20. And like the ones in, what's that place? The other training dummy place. Thank you, Galtrev. Galtrev, those are like level 65 or level 75. Like, they're just there. And so no matter what level you are, that's just what they are. But the training dummy stand that you can get for your house, it will be the level of you. So it gives you some accurate information about how you be against your own level. They also used to be convenient for doing oops, not that. When you're doing your class deeds, like use intent concentration, so, you know, just using it, and you could like use it against the dummy, and that would be the way to get through these. And you needed to do that in order to get, it was a virtue points, wasn't it? But now they've changed the way that virtue's done, so you just get virtue points for, or not virtues, but class trait points. Sorry, wrong words. You used to get these points in part from doing some of these class deeds. So like you might get a skill point here that you could then spend in that trait. They took that out. They've just streamlined it. So basically you get a class trait point every other level. So you're just getting them. They're just like giving them away. It's like Oprah. I think it's better. I like the streamlined version. But it just means that the training dummies have less, they're less needed, really. Okay. Oh yes, Aaron Bard says, a friend has a training dummy that nearly took me out. I think it was a Yule item. Yes, there was this year a snowman training dummy that you could get for your yard. And I'll show you, I can show you guys a lot of these things that I'm talking about here in a few minutes, because we've got some in the at our houses here. I Have the Tigers asks, is there a class with a wolf pet? So the lore master has pets, but I don't remember if they have a wolf pet. They have a lynx pet. Let's see. What? Why is freebies? Oh, it's probably because I put the wrong thing there. Is it a werewolf? A war wolf. Huh. Apparently there's a war wolf if you're doing mounted combat. Yeah, I would say check the Lotro wiki. So lotro-wiki.com is where you would, and just put in like wolf, see what you get, or wolf. I don't know. I mean, wait a minute. Do you mean a wolf pet, like one that will help you in combat? Or do you mean like a cosmetic pet that just follows you around, but doesn't give you any boosts or, doesn't attack anything for you or anything like that. Just look cute. Because there are, I believe, cosmetic pets. Let's take a look here. Let's get rid of these two. Wolf. So there's the black marble wolf dog. These are cosmetic pets. These don't attack. These just follow you around. There's a black wolf dog, the brown marble wolf dog, brown wolf dog, husky wolf dog, and the white wolf dog. So cosmetic pets you can have, definitely. Okay, you're talking about a wolf pet that fights for you. Okay, so I know lore masters have a bear. You start with the bear, and then you get the spindly leg guy, the bog lurker, and then you can also get a lynx. You can get an eagle. You can get the big guy that stomps, but he's only once in a while. I don't remember what other ones. I would say look up Lore Master on the Lotro wiki and see what's there, because I haven't been prolific with playing my Lore Master. I play her once in a while, and then she doesn't play, and then I play her for a little while, and then she doesn't play. So I never remember what all pets I can have, and I just use the Bog Lurker because I really like it. Yeah. Okay. So let's see. We were looking through what she's got. So we looked at the steeds or the halters, and we looked at some of the housing items, and now we get into the steeds. And so I've got that one, and that one, and that one, and that one. There's a war steed of Isengard, which I don't have yet, but we don't have war steeds yet, so I don't feel like an urgent need to get it. That one, and that one, and that one. Okay. So it looks like I've got all the steeds. So it looks like now I'm into the pets. I've gotten the white peacock and the white peahen. I haven't gotten the yellow snake, striped snake, the red snake, or the banded snake. Looks like I've been putting off getting the snakes. So I think I will go ahead and start on some of this. I'll go ahead and get the yellow snake since she's here. Now, is there any housing item that I want to grab while I'm here? I don't think so. I think I'm pretty happy with the housing items that we have. So I think I'm good. The only thing I might consider is getting a pet harness to make a pet. You know what? I might go ahead and do that. Just put it in my inventory. So now, okay, so it automatically went into my wallet, just like the other ones did. When I say that, just like the steed halters do. Now, wait a minute. It's not in my wallet. Where did it go? Oh, because it's not a halter. It's a harness. Yeah. Oh, no, I've done it silly. Harness. Yeah, pet harness. So now I have one pet harness in my wallet, so I can use that anytime. That's nice. I don't have to keep it in my inventory. That's handy. Okay, so that's the curator. So that's the kind of stuff that she's got. Now, there's a trio that come and go as well, and they'll stick around for months usually. But Rowan Raspberry,
How may I help you today?
Myrtle Mint, and Filbert Fig. I call them the triplets. And so I often am checking what mounts and pets they have. Okay, so I've already got the Steed of the Hidden Peaks. I've got the Steed of Bright Company. I've got the Steed of the Wild Hills. So the War Steeds I don't have yet. The pets. Oh, I don't have the Tome of the Friendly Egret. Or the Little Pink Pig. A Big Wasp. There's where you get the Big Wasp from. Carpenter Bee. Well, she's going to be around for a little longer, I think. So I don't have an urgent need to buy something from her. Okay, so I'm going to head back to the housing, and I'll show you all a couple of the things that we were just looking at there. Actually, let me just go straight to the kin house. Let's see. B4 says, I see bear, raven, eagle for the lore master. Bog guardian, lynx, spirit of nature, which is like a ball, although sometimes it takes a form, and saber-toothed cat. So not quite the same as a wolf. Visually, saber-toothed cat might be close to a wolf, though. And then Anathalo says, if you're on the war steed with a lore master, you get a war wolf to fight along, but only as long as you're in mounted combat, not normal playing. Oh, okay. Hang on, we're going to wake up our little animals. Hey, Nanu. Let's get the badger out. There's the honey badger. He don't care. There's the shrew mouse house. Little shrew comes out. There's a little dusty shrew. Hey, Marigold. Okay, let's see. What did the curator... Oh, the curator had the outhouse here. So we'll go knock on the outhouse door. A property guard came out. That should be a scary looking guy, isn't it? Sometimes a chicken comes out. You never know what you're going to get. So cool. I'm glad people are answering that question about the wolf. All right, so here's our house. I'm going to let it load for a minute because we have a lot of stuff in the house. Let's see. Sorry, I'm just kind of looking at some of the kin chat. Ah, the Cloak of Shadows. That would go nicely with my outfit, wouldn't it? With all the parcels. Yeah, that one's a nice one. I just don't wear a lot of cloaks. If my character's wearing anything on her back, it's usually like a satchel or something, you know, which I like. Okay, so it looks like it's loaded now. Oh, I've still have the holiday stuff up, the Yule stuff. I'll have to take that down at some point. Switch out for another season. So we were talking about, I have the visiting barber. So if I wanted to change, so you can always go and talk to the barber and talk to their waist, apparently, if you're a hobbit. And I can change like the shape of my head. I can change my hairstyle. I can change the eyes, the shape of the eyes and stuff. I can change the shape of the eyebrows, the mouth, the details like the freckles and stuff. Extra details. Oh, there's a mole I can do, and it can move, can be in various places. What else we got here? Check out the extra details. I think there's like one of them is oh, that's extra freckles. I don't know what that is. There's like a slash across the cheek. Oh, some wrinkles on the forehead if you want to be an older character. More wrinkles in the face if you want to be definitely an older character. So there's some options there in the extra details you can do. You can change your eye color. You can change your skin color within the range that's allowed for your origin. So like with the hobbits, oh here, sorry, this is kind of behind there. With the hobbits, there's the 3 different hobbit locations you could be from. The stores, the Harfoots and the other ones, they have like different skin color ranges. So you can only change your skin color within the range that's allowed. Same with the eye color, same with the hair color. And then the body type, if you want to be more stout or if you want to be more wafy, you've got options there. And you could randomize, you could reset everything, like you got all sorts of stuff. And it just costs you like usually some silver to change that up. So we have a visiting barber at our house in case anybody ever wanted to like change up their stuff. Let's see. Oh, I have the tiger. It says, I need to try Lotro. Looks great. Is there a sub? Yes, but no. I have the tiger. Lotro is free to play. So there is no subscription. There's no paid subscription necessary to play Lotro. And you can play for free through, I think, the entire epic story line, which takes you into like level 95 or so. So there's quite a lot of content that you can cover without ever having to drop a penny. And the nice thing too is that, here, let me scooch over a smidge. Tell you what, we're gonna drop that pet. We're gonna dash out. In the game, so in Lotro, there is this Lotro store. And in the Lotro store, you can buy things for Lotro points. You can buy Lotro points for like real world cash, but you don't have to. So let's say I wanted to, here, let's just take a look at whatever's on sale. So this is what's on sale right now. So like a universal morale potion. Restores morale based on your level. Let's say I wanted to buy one of those, and it's 18 Lotro points. So from doing things in the game, you can earn Lotro points. So for example, let's go to the Shire. So when I was running around in the Shire and I was defeating brigands, when I defeated 30 brigands, which isn't that many, after I did that, I got 5 Lotro points. And then it's like, hey, you did a great job, do that again. So there's an advanced version. And so I had to defeat 30 the first time, another 60 the second time. Okay, so after I defeated that 60, then I got an additional 10 Lotro points. So basically, I defeated 90 brigands, and I got 15 Lotro points for the deal. Not bad. So if you are just doing like Slayer deeds in some of these early areas, or because there's a basic and advanced for each one of these Slayer deeds in the Shire and Heirloom and all these early areas. So Goblin Slayer Advanced, Harvest Fly Advanced, so on. There's also exploration deeds, and those will give you Lotro points as well. So for example, I did, let's do, Explorer. No, it's Farms. Let's do Farms of the Shire. So in the Shire, there are a various number of farms. And they're like, hey, if you find Dora Brownlock's farm, which there's a quest that comes right off one of the main roads where Dora's standing there. And she's like, hey, can you go to my farm and save my chickens? You pick up that quest, you go do the quest, and all of a sudden you found her farm. So, like, just participating in the game, you often complete these exploration deeds. Find Bam Furlong, you often go there for things. Old Odo's Leaf Farm, there's stuff happening there. Southfields. Appledores is right by the party tree, so you're probably going to run into that. In fact, the gaffer sends you in there. And then find Puddifoot's Field. So, like, just finding those 6 locations in the Shire gives you 5 Lotro points. And then the sites of the Shire, like the party tree, which you will probably go to at some point. The Methyl Stage, the Stock Tower, the Quarry, there's a Crumbling Wall, and the Great Willow. The Great Willow you get sent to for requests, so things like that. So you do that, find those 6 places, you get another 5 Lotro points. Guess what? Farms of the Shire and Sites of the Shire are another deed themselves called Explorer of the Shire. So that one doesn't give you any Lotro points, but it gives you some rejuvenation potions, which can be helpful if you're having trouble in battle. And reputation with the Madam Society, because each area kind of has their own like reputation, and as you gain reputation, guess what? That completes deeds. Guess what that gives you? Lotro points. So there's a lot of ways you can earn Lotro points in the game, and you can use that then to buy things in the Lotro store, like more room for your inventory. Because like I have this much bag space. That is not how much bag space you come with by default. It's a much smaller amount, but you can buy extra bag space in the Lotro store for Lotro points. And so I've done that. I wait for things to go on sale, and then I buy the stuff. So I have all of them now because it's gone on sale enough times that I'm like, I had Lotro points, I bought the stuff. Had Lotro points, went on sale, got the stuff. So you can buy stuff with Lotro points. Yes, and the question is, and sub unlock higher levels? Yeah, subscription will unlock a number of things. And there's a list out there, I don't have it off the top of my head, but of what a subscription, what a Lotro subscription does for you. It unlocks swift travel, because sometimes like a stable master might have a way for you to get from A to B, and you could just ride. But they might have a swift travel version where you're like, you're here, and then you disappear, and all of a sudden you show up here. It's a little faster that way. That's what subscription will get you. Various things like that. And then, yes, you can, in the Lotro store, buy expansion packs for Lotro points. So you can real world money buy those expansion packs, or in game with Lotro points buy those packs. So you're never locked out of being able to access the game just because you don't want to spend money. What some people will do, in fact, is they'll play with a character and then they'll make another character and have that other second, alternate character start working on a bunch of those easier deeds and start getting a bunch of Lotro points. And so that way your pile of Lotro points can just grow, so that way you can buy these other things and whatnot. And there's a lot of things that you can buy that are account wide. So, especially when it comes to inventory. So like in my shared storage, which all of my characters on the server have access to, the shared storage is, when I buy that, it increases the amount that I can hold in there. And that applies to all the servers I play on. So it's not just on this server. That shared storage increase applies to everything, which is really nice. So I do appreciate that they, if you buy stuff with Lotro points, you know, it does have a possibility of applying to things throughout the game for you, not just to one specific character. There are some things that only apply to one specific character, don't get me wrong, but at least there's options with some of that. Aaron Bard says, Explorer Deed reminds me, a dueling quest at Dol Ring West dropped virtue on completion. Was wondering if it was for slaying the goblin boss or for not destroying, or not doing the destroy the ruin quest, or do they do virtue drops anymore? I do not know. Aaron Bard says, the best thing sub gives you is town services everywhere, which I just was using. You may have been like, wait, how'd you do that? What just happened there? Usually, if you want to, here, before I go anywhere, I gotta show you guys this cart, the minecart display. Check it out. There's a little bitty minecart right over there. It's going around the circle. And it's going squeak, 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 squeak. Isn't that so cute? I think it's very cute. Probably should take the names off there. You can see it a little bit better. All right, so, okay. But let me show you in the center of town. So I'm in a neighborhood, but you'll find these amenities that I'm about to show you in Bree, oh my gosh, in Mickle Delving, in maybe not Hobbiton. Does Stock have stuff? Well, various places throughout Middle Earth. So I'm going to go into this building here, because I know that's where I'm going to find the people I'm looking for. So you have, in the game, oops, this person over here has the little gold over her head, which indicates that she's a vault keeper. This person over here is is a supplier and provisioner.
Good day. How may I help
because I can
you?
buy those things from him. So actually, let me go back to the Vault Keeper. So the Vault Keeper is like a hugely important person in the game. They allow you to browse the shop.
Hello.
So if I have things that I want to sell, like these bounties that they just gave me, they just gave me piles of stuff that I can turn in for money, like those things, that I can sell to her, to the Vault Keeper. I can also open my vault. So I have a personal vault that my
Just
other
a
characters don't
moment.
have access to, but I have stuff stashed in there. With her, I can also open the shared
Hello.
storage. So that's really convenient. I can drop things in there and pick stuff up out of there. But also with her, I can open the wardrobe. And there's a whole
something I
separate
can do for
thing.
you?
I'm not even going to get started on that right now. But basically, you can throw things in your wardrobe, which then you can use to outfit your character in ways that don't have any impact on the way you play, just on the way you look. That's the TLDR there, the short version of that story. So I can make myself look all sorts of various ways. I can dye my outfits. I can swap things in and out. So I can play with that sort of thing, and I use the wardrobe to do that. So those are the sorts of things you can do with a Vault Keeper. And forever, it was always you had to go to the Vault Keeper to do these things. So you're constantly like, okay, my stuff's really full. I need to go find a Vault Keeper so I can go shove stuff away, blah, blah, blah. But now I have a little bubble that I get as a subscriber, and it looks like this. And I click on it, and it allows me to do pretty much all of those same things, but like on the go. And it's amazing. I love it. So I can browse the shop, sell stuff as I'm running around. I can open my vault. I can open my shared storage. I can open the wardrobe. I can open the auction house from here, which I don't know if you noticed, but she did not open the auction house for me because she's a vault keeper, not an auction house person. I would have to literally go to the auction house, which, is there anyone in here? No. Where is, an auctioneer? I have to go to an auctioneer, which there might not be one. I might have to go to Bree for that, or Mickle Delving or something. So there might not be an auctioneer in the neighborhood. So I'd have to go to an auctioneer to get access to the auction house to put stuff in or buy stuff, whatever. So it's in Mickle Delving. But I was thinking there would be one in the neighborhood, but I guess not. So anyway, so that is another huge benefit of being a subscriber, is you have access to picking that up. And there's an NPC over here, Wenda Cranesbill. You'll find her in various places. And she's the one who gave me that bauble. And it's fantastic. I love it. TLDR is too long, didn't read. It's, as those kids today say. So, yeah, I guess there isn't an auctioneer in the neighborhood, but there we are. Okay, so that covers some of the subscription and stuff. So, but I know you guys were talking about other stuff, so let me zip back up. Bum, bum, bum. Before it says some quests do give virtue XP, but we think most of the virtue experience comes from deeds. And Eye of the Tiger has one last question. Is there PvP and are there rewards for it? Before did answer some question about that. There is a place in the game where PvP happens. It's called the Etten Moors, as he mentioned there. It's this area right up here. I can kind of look at it. Let me move this out of the way. That's the location where PvP happens. And it's not PvP exactly. It's player versus monster player. So you can come in as a player of the free people, also called Freep, or a player monster player, also known as creeps. So it's Freeps and creeps. It's a thing. But yeah, so you can play against other players. So you're playing against other players. It's just you're either playing as a free people person or as a monster people person. So you're not out in like Rivendell taking out a hunter or something like that. Like that doesn't happen. But you might be like a wild warg in the Etten Moors taking out an elf. Or hobbits. The people always like to take out the hobbits for some reason. Or at least they talk about it. I haven't engaged in PvMP very much. Well, not at all yet. I haven't gone made a monster character or anything like that. So I haven't tried it yet. It's on our list of things to try at some point. Especially if there's any, undone deeds at some point. Or if we've done everything else. And we only have PvMP deeds left. That'll probably be when we start doing some monster play. But yes, it was a thing that was included ages ago. The conundrum of it is that players attacking other players doesn't feel very in line with Tolkien, the world of Middle Earth. I mean, sure, there's some kinslaying that happen, but it's kind of rare. I mean, that's why it sticks out, right? So the idea of players going around and smacking other players around is a little weird. So they tried to figure out a way to accommodate that while also keeping the world of Middle Earth, in a way that made sense. So that's why they created that special area. They created it so that you weren't attacking other players, but you were, attacking monsters or monsters attacking the players in that space. And so they talk about that. So it was a system that was created, and then it was around and I don't know if maintained is the right word, but it was kept alive, but it wasn't in worked on in a robust way for a long time. And then recently, one of the developers who was really big on that PvMP recently came back to Standing Stone Games, SSG, that's who makes the game. They make this, and they make Dungeons and Dragons Online, also called DDO. So you might see a little bit of crossover in some contexts of things sometimes, but pretty much the two games are very separate, but they do a great job of really immersing you in the world, in the lore of that world, which is really fun. So anyway, that developer came back, is very into it, and so the PvMP is being worked on again with a little more earnest, and I think it's Orion that's doing it, and he's asking, he'll go and ask questions in the forums, and people who are big into the PvMP can answer that and give their feedback and really get more engaged with it. So if PvMP is something that you are into, you definitely can find it. Some servers are more active in that than others. I'm trying to remember who. I think, if I recall correctly, when I ask this, people pop up in the chat sometimes, especially if you ask during Cord's stream, which is on Friday. Cordovan, the community manager, his stream is here. Because I don't think you were here earlier when I mentioned this. He streams on Fridays at noon Eastern time, this very same place, twitch.tv/LotroStream. And you can ask him these questions, or you could put into the chat, hey, I'm interested in PvMP. What's the best server to play that on? And people will have opinions, especially the people who are in that. They'll be like, no, you got to come to my server. But I think it's, I want to say Evernight and Arkenstone, maybe Crick Hollow, I think are the big ones for PvMP. But you'd probably want to maybe come back on a Friday and double check that with a larger audience that people are talking or listening and interacting, because yeah, people will have definite opinions there. So yeah. But I hear it's a lot of fun. I haven't tried it. Like I said, I haven't tried it yet. Yeah, so B4 says Sauron's bad enough without having to worry about getting, shivved by a stealthy hobbit. Yes. Let's see. And yeah, I have the Tiger was asking, do you make a monster character and progress, or is it a one time and just for fun? And before it says you make monster characters and they level and skill up, just like your free people characters can, but there's a cap. Like, I think there's it goes to level 10, or some of the abilities go to level. It's a different scaling system. It's just a different system slightly in there. But I think you can take one of your free people characters and basically copy it in there, or something like that. I think you can take one of your existing characters and make them a character in that space and use them. But I don't know enough of the details about that. So if you're really into that, the forums have a lot of information. It's like forums.lotro.com. And people, like I said, are very passionate about it, and you can get a lot of answers that way. So, take it with a grain of salt, because some people have very strong opinions that may not be what matches what you have for your experience or your interests or whatever. So, do what you want to do. Don't necessarily do what other people say you should do. For the most part, the Lotro community is very much like if you go into world chat, which is you can do on any server, and it's everybody who's on that server has access to that chat. And so a lot of people will go into world chat and they'll be like, hey, I'm starting off as a captain. Which line should I play? Because when you are playing a character, you can choose between generally 3 different colors. You can play in the blue, which is often kind of a little bit of this, a little bit of that. You can play in the red, which is usually very heavy on DPS, or you could play in the yellow, which is often very heavy on crowd control. It varies, but that's kind of the general gist of most of the characters' classes. So this is me playing as a hunter. I have a setup for playing in red line because I really like DPS. I like hitting hard from a distance. But I also do have a setup in the blue line where I can hit things not quite as hard as red, but I can hit them on the go. So that gives me a little bit more flexibility. Whereas with my red line, I have a little bit longer range. I hit harder, but I have to stand still when I do it. I kind of decide which makes most sense for me depending on the situation. Where was I going with on that? Not PvMP. Oh, I can't remember where I was going with that. Oh, yeah. If you go into world chat and you're like, hey, I'm starting off as a hunter. What line should I play? Or starting off as a captain. What line should I play? You'll have people who will be like, well, here's what's good about this one. Here's what's good about that one. This is why I choose this one. This is why I choose that one. But at the end of the day, somebody will always say something along the lines of, what kind of, what style of play do you like to play? What do you want to do? You should do what makes sense to you. Because there will often be people like, well, what's needed at endgame? It's like, well, what's needed at endgame is for you to have fun. So sure, there are some opinions on, this would work, this would not work. I would rarely get told to probably play a yellow line hunter at endgame. I think people would probably steer me towards a red line or a blue line, but on the other hand, for a while, being able to put down specific kinds of traps was really important. And that's something you can do in yellow line as a hunter. So it varies. So the point is that the Lotro community is pretty good about helping you and encouraging you to play what you want to play and not a particular style that other people think you should play. because most people agree that you should play what you want to do. You should do what you want to do. You should do what makes sense to you and what is like a style that you enjoy. You know, if you want to challenge yourself, try this. If you want to do this, do that. You know, people are pretty good about that. So that's really nice. But the monster character players, the PvP folks, I would say have the strongest opinions of the people in the world of people who play Lord of the Rings online. So that was my word of caution. If you go onto the forums and you start looking at the PvP stuff, people are going to have strong opinions. And just because they have an opinion on something doesn't mean that that's what's best for you. But it may help guide you into figuring out what it is you want to do. You know, and hey, if you tell somebody, well, your style of play or your suggestions don't work for me, I'm going to do this. Well, just end up on the other side, and then you can beat each other up. So you know, it's a win-win. It used to be that I think monster players were only available to VIP or subscribers, but I think they made a lot of changes over the last year or two. They just had the 15th anniversary last year. And so as part of that, as a celebration, they made a lot of things. They shifted them from being available only to subscribers to being for everybody, free to play and everyone. And I think creating a monster character was one of those things that was shifted from paid to free. There's also this thing called called your wallet, and there's an upgraded version of the wallet called the premium wallet, which I believe also is now part of just your normal, you know, thing as a character. Because it used to be that you couldn't, like, all of this stuff. Oh, I'm at 10,000 of my ancient script. I gotta remember to spend that. It used to be that you didn't. Yeah, a lot of this stuff I had to keep in my inventory, and that's real annoying because like all these different little trophies and various bits and bobs that I'm like, I don't want to keep this in my inventory, but you know, like they were stuck in my inventory. Well, now they go into this wallet, they're out of my inventory. It's fantastic. I mean, you see how much stuff I have here. Imagine if I had that all in my vault, because I did for a while, and then I bought the premium wallet, and then it was great. It was just like and like slurped it all up. I was like, oh, this is amazing. I got so much space now. Hooray. So, oh, and then yes, B4 does point out though that PvP is not available on the legendary servers. And that's not something they're ever planning to do. It's a very different experience. The legendary servers are. It's more of a focus on the progression. Focused on, a lot of people are completionists on here, and it's a smaller community, and so it definitely has more of like, we're one giant kin, as opposed to some of the standard servers that have been around. Because the standard servers, some of them have been around for like 15 years, some of them are 10, some are like 8 years. Like, they've been around longer, so they have a larger community that comes and goes. They have free to play folks, they have subscription folks. It's like a real melting pot of folks. Whereas the legendary servers, like this one just opened June of, this is 23, so 21, right? Yeah. So, oh, well, I have it in my character bio. I put these things in my bio so I don't have to remember them. Yeah, June 2021 is when Treebeard opened. At noon Eastern time. We were ready. Like, we were at our computers, like, refresh, just waiting for the servers to open so we could like get our names, get our characters going, like get zooming along. It was great. So there's a much smaller community here, and then plus once we hit level cap, when we get there, like currently it's 140. So if we got to 140 on this server, then this server will close. And all of our characters, we transfer ourselves off and go find other places to play. And then they start the whole process all over again. So it's kind of fun. Aaron Bart asks, can you drop things out of your wallet? No, you cannot. Which could be good or bad. I don't know how you want to look at that. But I guess kind of the exception is things like gold. Like, you can send gold by mail in game. Like, I could, compose a mail and send a mail off to somebody, and I can add gold. I could add money to it. So I guess that's one way to get stuff out of your wallet. But let's see. And you'll notice that there's things that are like whitish gray and things that are green. Green things are account shared, which means any of your characters have access to that. The things that are gray are your character only, or specific to your character. So, like, I have 6 golden festival tokens. Other characters of mine have their own. Those are mine. For example, I have 242 midsummer tokens. I have 818 primroses. You're thinking about flower petals? Like, well, flower petals don't go into your wallet. Are you talking about, like, the things... Oops, I was still typing in there. Like, where do I have it? I think I have them in my vault. Oops, hang on a second. Like these flower petals that you use. Yeah, let me pull it out. Can I do it without a target? I have to have a target. From the Spring Fest. The flowers that you go picking, like the violets and those sorts of things. Yeah, the ones you collect like tokens for Springfest. No, exactly, yes. Okay, those stay in your, yeah. So like the violets, I have 13 of those. Those stay in the wallet. Those never come out of the wallet, until you spend them at the barterer. So yes, those, you cannot take them out of the wallet. Yeah, the only way you could get things out of the wallet is to spend it. I guess that kind of makes sense, right? So like these bad fish, I could go to a, that's a token for the festival. Like where's the taxidermy? So that's festival and events. I do appreciate that they have these in categories. So I've got my coins. I've got festival and events. So that's all the tokens for various festivals and various events. But the taxidermy, like these, I could go to the Brie taxidermist and, exchange this for a winter worm guy standing there, which is great for like Halloween houses. Udon swords, those are also good, like that sort of thing. And also the fish, I could get like the perfect pike. I could get a perfect pike mounted up on my wall. Yeah, the only way to get those out is to then take them to a taxidermist and get the item made from them. Let's see. Those are some other... Oh, the amberjacks and those things. Those are from another festival. That's so funny. You would think those would be in the festival tokens. That's all right. Pet harness that I got earlier. That's sitting right there. So these all just stay in the wallet. They don't go anywhere. I wonder what's the crafting one. Oh, the universal ingredient packs, of course. My embers and my figments and motes. Yeah. So, yeah, it just sits in there. It's so funny. The rusted dwarf tools are kind of a phased out things. And you used to be able to exchange those for legendary weapons. In Bree, there was like a whole series of these guys kind of standing around. They're not there anymore. So it's kind of funny because I'm like, they still drop occasionally, these tools, and I'm curious what they're going to do, in some point, because with the legendary items, I know they were kind of doing it in phases, and so every so often, like, something changes, like, okay, now you can exchange these tokens for this thing, or whatever. So I'm curious to see if that will ever, if we'll ever be able to exchange that for, like, ancient script or something like that. So Vangur says, I miss playing this game. Well, you should come back and play then. I mean, the game's here. Come on in. Soapy Benoit says, Oi there, lass. What are you? Sounds like, oh gosh, what's his name? From Green Dragon Friday. Our dwarf friend who just had surgery. Hope he's doing all right. There were dwarfs and such that were standing around here. So there'd be like, there were a couple of them over here having a conversation. Oh, Vagnar is in from P2P. We were talking about PVMP. There was somebody standing there. I think that was the captain person. There was like the burglar trader standing over here, kind of like, hunched and looking around. So there was, yeah, so you could come over here and use those tools, and you could trade them out back there, but not anymore. So I don't know. Who knows what's going to happen with those? So that's those rusted dwarf tools. Oh, and the same with the Kuzdul tablets. You used to be able to exchange those too. Yeah, and now you pick them up, but I don't know what's going to happen with those. So, oh, I was going to say, I might, let me see, if I log out here. So by default, you get like 2 character slots. And then you can unlock more character slots through being a subscriber. Oh, Wagner, you're from before you had to pay to play. Well, and you don't have to pay to play though. There is free to play. It's just if you, and then we've been just talking about this for like the last half hour, that if you are a subscriber, it opens up different benefits, but you absolutely can play the game free to play and still go through a lot, like so much of the storyline, and like there's a lot you can still do, and you can unlock things in the game, expansion packs and whatnot that you could buy for real world money, but you can unlock them in the game with in-game currency called Lotro points. So yeah, you've got definitely some options in there. You don't have to be a subscriber to play. So notice how long it's taken me to log out. It's because it's having to save all of that data that I did with my character. So that's part of that thing, that scenario, or not scenario, that Severlin, the executive producer, has been talking about lately, about server load and how to reduce this and how to streamline things so that it takes out more of this kind of, lag and stuff. It doesn't usually take this long. It could be because I'm also streaming. But yeah, Wagner, you can come back and play anytime. And I would say you probably have old characters, but even people who have older characters and sometimes are like, oh, I got this character up to so-and-so and I want to play them. I would say start with a new character anyway, because things have changed so much, even in the last couple years. I would say you just want to start over and try a new character, and then maybe go back and play one of your existing characters if that was something you were trying to do. Okay, so if I wanted to create a new character, and how do I do the monster play thing? Oh, I'm on a legendary server. It won't let me. Of course not. Never mind. I'm going to exit creation. But yes, I want to exit without creating a character. That is correct. Actually, it might have been on that screen. I'm pretty sure if you want to create a monster character, which I don't know if any of you do at this point, but if you did, you would go to new character, and I'm pretty sure monster character is one of the options, like over here somewhere or something. But I'm on a legendary server. Legendary server doesn't have monster play, so it's not even going to be here. But I think it would be over in here where I would choose that, and then it would allow me to then go through the process of what kind of monster do you want to play, and this and that and the other. Well, it's been over 2 hours for me. So I think, yes, I want to exit without creating character. Okay. Oh. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up here. Who was I playing the other day? Do you remember who I was playing the other day who I mentioned I needed to go and update their legendary items? Wasn't Sylphie. I did her recently. Probably the minstrel. And that would be Venkel. I have 1 male Hobbit character in everything. In all of my servers that I play on. Because I have characters on like 5 different servers. And I have 1 male Hobbit character, and that's this guy right here. All of my other Hobbits are female. All of my elves are female. All my high elves are female. I have 1 male dwarf. I have a female stout axe dwarf. I have at least 1 male Bjorning. I have at least 1 female Bjorning. What other character classes do I have? I have a human. She's female. What else is out there? What haven't I mentioned? Stout axe, high elf, Bjorning, elf dwarf, hobbit man. I think I've covered them all. All right, so I think I'm going to run this guy off to Rivendell and see if I can't start updating his legendary items. Let me see. What do you talk? What do you talk? Notice how, okay, so you'll notice that the screen is now all blue, whereas the last one was like darks and greens and stuff. It's because I don't have a UI skin on this one. So this is what the game looks like without any UI skin. This is the normal colors. But yeah, I think his legendary, yeah, he's got some spots. All right, this guy's going to go spend some of that legendary script, I think. So, all right. Well, thank you all for coming along. If you have any last minute questions, pop that there into the chat. But I will mention that coming up right after me here, there might be like a 5-minute break in between, will be B4, and he has a stream called Plugging Along, where he is talking about the Lord of the Rings Online plugins. So things like this bar up here does not natively come with the game. That is a plugin called, I just forgot the words. Hang on, I'll just pull it up. Plugins. That is Titan Bar. It's one of my favorites too. And my brain just stops sometimes. Don't worry about that. It's a great plugin. So Titan Bar is a plugin. So on. And the plugin that I keep pulling up with the deed tracker. That's something that B4 actually created. Based it off of another plugin that existed, but it dealt with something else, and he said, hey, I want one that deals with plugin or with the deeds, and so he created this whole thing. So he has a whole stream where he's going to be talking about plugins, and he'll be doing some plugin development right there live with you, and also answering questions about Lord of the Rings Online and such. So if you have any questions that we didn't answer here during this stream, you can definitely pop it into the chat, and I'll be around after I grab a bite to eat, and I'll be helping out answering questions in the chat as well. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for coming along and joining me on this journey. I hope we see some of you in the game, like Wagner. I hope you come back, and feel free to come back anytime. I'm always here on Tuesdays. If you have any other questions about, like, hey, what server should you play, or what's different, or anything like that, and any of the streamers that are on here can answer those questions. There's a whole bank of people on Fridays. We're on throughout the week. And so, yes, I have the tiger. If you're going to go make a monster, that is fantastic. I really hope you enjoy that, because I know, like I said, the PvMP community is very passionate, and it's really neat to see how much they really enjoy that. So that's cool that I think you're gonna join in on that. I hope you have a good time. I really hope you have a good time with that. All right, and yes, Deadly on Treebeard. Rock on, Aaron Bird. You got this. I believe in you. You can do it. All right, thanks everybody, and remember to go out there and take care of each other. And what is it that I say? Always stay in contact with that Hobbit side of your heart. All right, thanks everybody. Have a great night. Bye.